So when ICRC is ready to roll, hi everybody and welcome to the Deerfield Township Board of Trustees Candidate Forum on behalf of the Mason-Deerfield Chamber. We would like to thank Joe Barr, American Legion Post 194, for hosting the event this evening. American Legion, by the way, America's largest veterans service organization. It's nonpartisan, by the way. Its mission is to enhance the well-being of America's veterans, their families, our military, and our communities by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. So we'll start by an introduction on our end. My name is Mike Dardis. I'm the co-anchor of WLWT News 5 at 5, 6, and 11. I've done a little bit of this as far as the politics is concerned. I've hosted a few of the mayoral debates in Cincinnati, congressional debate between Aftab Puroval and Congressman Shabbat a few years back, and most recently in Hamilton County, the heated debate between sheriff's candidates in Hamilton County, which ended up being a very interesting election as well. And we have here Erin from the Cincinnati Enquirer, Erin Glenn, who would like to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Erin Glenn. I cover Butler, Warren, and Claremont counties for the Cincinnati Enquirer and Report for America.
Thank you very much, Erin, and great to meet you. I'd like to thank Kristen Malhotra and James Siciliano for being here this evening, for their interest in serving our community. We'd like to thank the citizens of our area who have joined us this evening, and for everybody tuning in tonight on ICRC-TV. This is a great evening. Folks have a chance to watch from their own homes, evaluating which two candidates they'd like to cast their vote for this election season. Carol Filomena and Julie Seitz declined the opportunity, by the way, to be involved tonight, to participate in this forum. Additional information on all the candidates can be found on the Chamber's website at madechamber.org, as well as the Facebook page, Decision Made 2021. We'd also like to thank ICRC-TV here filming the forum, and we'll also be broadcasting live on their Facebook page tonight.
The forum tonight will begin with opening comments from each candidate, who will have 2 minutes starting in alphabetical order. We will then go through a series of questions, and each of you will have a 60-second response time. Once the candidates have responded to the question, each candidate will have an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal if time allows. The moderators also reserve the right to ask follow-up questions. We will end the forum with a 1-minute closing statement from each candidate. There will be a 10-second time card warning, and when your time is up, you will hear a bell.
Right there. Also a stop sign and a 10-second warning, so you've been warned ahead of time.
The forum, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
The forum format and the questions were provided to the candidates in advance.
So we're going to begin with opening comments here with our candidates for Deerfield Township Board of Trustees, beginning in alphabetical order. We did not have to flip a coin or anything like that. We've got Ms. Malhotra. You have 2 minutes. Please include why you are running for this office.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to start by thanking the American Legion and the Maid Chamber for hosting us tonight, and thank you for moderating this event. I'm Kristen Malhotra, and I'm running for re-election for Deerfield Township Trustee. I'm running for re-election because I think I've done a good job over the last 4 years of serving Deerfield Township. I have done a lot to promote our parks. I advocated creating a park zone to help protect our parks. I've done everything in a very fiscally responsible manner. I helped us retire our TIF debts and made us debt-free in 2020, which was a goal of the townships for a long time. We supported our fire station, and we built a new fire station up on Butler Warren Road this year, and we did that without having to ask for a single penny from taxpayers. I have made very responsible decisions when it comes to any zoning cases that come before me. I've taken a look and really analyzed every aspect of the case when it comes before me, and to make sure that I'm making the most fair and correct decision based off our comprehensive plan and based off of what the homeowner, the property owners, and the neighbors need and want. I want to continue to listen to Deerfield Township residents. I've been a very open and honest trustee, and I want to continue doing that for the next 4 years. I want to continue being a fiscally responsible, pro-safety services, pro-parks, and pro-responsible development trustee for Deerfield Township. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Well, thank you to Kristen Malhotra. Hardo, right? Malhotra.
Malhotra.
Sorry about that before. All right, Mr. Siciliano.
Yeah, thank you. First, again, I would also like to thank Maid Chamber, the American Legion, for having us here tonight. I also want to thank those of you in attendance here for giving up your evening to take a little bit of time to get to know the two of us. And I also want to thank the residents at home that are taking the time to watch this forum. It means a lot to me to know that that really everyone is taking the time to become informed. And again, like I said, get a chance to know the two of us that have shown up today. A little bit about me. My name is James Siciliano IV. The third is also in the audience. The fifth wanted to come, but he's still at home. I am the husband to a wonderful, forgiving wife and the father of 3 amazing children. I've been an educator for the past 21 years. 20 of those primarily teaching government to seniors. And it was one of those things where I've always told my students that if you feel passionate about something, then you need to get involved. You need to do something about it. And eventually it just got to the point where I realized I needed to either put up or shut up. And so for the last 2 years, I have been a trustee for Deerfield Township. I'm a high school coach, and like I said, the reason why we're here tonight is to understand a little bit about the job that we do, and every one of the roles that I take on, it's one of those. It's a job that I take very seriously, and the point of every one of those things is to be a good listener and surround yourself with good people, and so that I can be a servant leader to build up those around me. So again, thank you everyone for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
All right, starting with Mr. Siciliano, each of you will have 60 seconds to respond and an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal at this question. What is the role of the Deerfield Township Trustees with respect to keeping businesses economically viable in the township? And how do you intend to step into that role should you become elected?
Yeah, I think the role of a trustee is to make the community that you live in a better place. And whether that is, improving roads, maintaining and improving parks, listening to the public in zoning cases, and in particular to support and expand businesses in our area. We've got a wide variety of businesses that exist in the township, and I think that my role as a trustee is important to be that voice, be that public voice for the businesses, and be able to represent or really kind of expand the community's understanding of what exists within the township and the greater region. And so my job to make sure that these businesses are in fact viable is to work with our new economic development director, for instance, and reach out to be able to support the businesses and provide support and services and resources for them.
Thank you. Ms. Malhotra?
Yeah, so the role of a trustee is really to set the goals and priorities of their community. That's why they're elected. And so one of the goals and priorities of our community is to have a thriving business market. And part of having a thriving business market is also being an attractive place for customers to come, for customers to come from far away or customers to live right around the corner. So that's making a community that's best for everybody really helps our businesses. But one of the things that I'm very proud of that we did is, and Trustee Siciliano mentioned this, is one of my first acts when I was elected 4 years ago was to hire our first economic development director. And he does a lot of work working with our businesses, seeing what they need, making sure that they have what they need, and then looking for opportunities for bringing in new businesses to our area.
Thank you. The candidates will now have an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal if you wish, starting with Mr. Siciliano.
I don't think I necessarily need to have a rebuttal because I agree with what, and that's part of the beautiful thing about the two of us is we are on a board that that has been very successful because we do our research, we work hard, and we support each other, and even when there's differences, we have the ability to communicate and work together because the goal is to support the residents of Deerfield Township, and that is ultimately what we do in everything, every chance that we get to work together. So,
Thank you. Ms. Malhotra?
I appointed him. I don't know that I can rebut what he said. I agree with everything. He said great things about me, and about our board. So I'm not going to rebut that.
This is an easy debate.
It is. I know.
Yeah,
We're very nice to each other. This is going to be a
we're
boring
not really
debate, guys.
debating anything.
Sorry.
What happens when not everybody,
Work together.
shows up? All right, so same format, 60 seconds to answer the question, 30 seconds if you would like a rebuttal. I think we'll have a lot of saved time tonight from what I'm understanding. A lot of money in the war chest in Deerfield Township, $60 million in reserves at year's end. That's nearly 3 times what has historically been maintained in reserves. So, what are your plans as it relates to an increase, a decrease, or maybe leaving taxes as they are? Ms. Malhotra, you go first.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to just set something, bring it forward first. The reason that we have so much money in our reserves right now is due to a number of reasons. First of all, I mentioned it earlier, we retired our TIF debts. That brought in about $25 million in money that we had in these in these TIF funds that are now in our general fund. We also got about $2 million in CARES Act funding last year, and then we got another $2.1 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding, and we have another $2.1 million coming next year. So that's all a lot of money that we didn't previously have. But we do have plans to spend all of it over the next several years. So we're going to be spending that money to help improve roadways throughout the township, and we're going to be spending it on improving our fire station and our fire department. And so just because that we have this extra money right now doesn't mean that it's going to permanently be there. And so it's a reason for us to maintain our taxes at the way they are without having levy increases. And I'm sorry I went over.
$60 million, Mr. Siciliano. Plans, let's talk about that.
Well, first, thank you for bringing that up because that shows that we have been very successful at being fiscally responsible. I think that is important. The closing of the TIFs was a great success because our township is debt free, and so we have this money to be able to expand our infrastructure, improve our infrastructure. Look at what has happened already with Butler Warren with the roundabout. We have plans to expand and improve Columbia Road, especially toward Montgomery Road. That can be kind of a difficult, we're going to add a right turn lane there. You can see the construction that's going on with a new on-ramp onto 71 from Mason Montgomery. There's a lot of things, including, the hamlet of Kings Mills. We're completely redoing all of the roads. There's a lot of plans ahead, and I think that it's good for us to be able to focus that money on areas that are not going to draw us away from some of the priorities, and so we can extend things like, not having to raise taxes or ask for taxes.
We are the traffic circle capital of the world, so some of it could be, no, I'm just kidding. Any rebuttals from either one of you on this? 30 seconds if you would like.
I don't have a rebuttal, but just one thing that neither of us mentioned. Using this funding helped us push back our fire levy by several years. We were looking at having to run a fire levy last year in 2020, and because of this extra funding that we were able to push into our fire department, we were looking at least another 5 to maybe even 10 years before you're going to have to come back and ask our voters for a levy for the fire department.
Mr. Siciliano, did you think of anything else you wanted to add for 30?
Well, I agree, and that's the important thing. I was talking to our administrator today, and yeah, we are able to not only build a new fire station, but we were able to equip it, staff it, and did not have to ask for any additional money. We paid for it in cash, which was a huge I guess, a huge benefit to our community, but also to, saving that money until at least 2028, I believe, might be at the very earliest when we would have to ask. So.
All right, for this question, we'll start with Mr. Siciliano, 60 seconds and a 30-second rebuttal. What is the top accomplishment you want to have completed by the end of your term, and how will you get it done?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things that we can do is continue to work on connection. We mentioned that last night when we spoke. The connection between our neighbors, and whether that is through physical connection with sidewalks and bike paths, connecting, but that's also connecting our neighbors through creating events. We had an opportunity. I know we've got the Arts Alliance here, tonight, Representative. To be able to create these events that allow for community members to have that connection, I think is one of the most important things that we can do, and something that I want to continue to push, especially with the diversity that we have within the township. I would love to be able to even create more cultural events so that we as neighbors can get together, learn from each other, and really be able to feel that sense of welcome and community.
Thank you. Ms. Malhotra?
Yeah, so I think that my top goal for my next term will be to find a place to either build or renovate an existing building to create a new administration building for the township, and one that is owned by the township. So the space we're in currently on Mason Montgomery Road, it's a leased space, and I just don't think that it's financially prudent for us to be using taxpayer dollars to pay a private landlord for a public building, and one that's not even really serving our needs. It's too small for us. We had to turn a closet into an office recently, and when we had a new hire, and really our meeting room is too small, and it doesn't have a community aspect to it. So just in reverence to our taxpayer dollars and being the most financially responsible and fiscally responsible that we can with them, I'd like to find a building that really serves our needs. And whether that be we build a new one somewhere, or whether that be we find an office building that we can renovate for our needs.
Thank you. Opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal, Mr. Siciliano?
I completely agree.
Ms. Malhotra?
Good, thanks.
Okay, starting with Ms. Malhotra. Top two financial issues right now over the next 4 years for government here in Deerfield Township, and why are they so important?
All right, so our top financial issue that I think we've got will be that our parks levy will expire in 2023. And when that happens, we will have no money coming into our parks fund directly. So that's going to be something that is going to be a big financial devastating issue if we don't pass a parks levy looking at next year. So that's going to be one of my top priorities financially. The next financial issue, and I know we mentioned that our fire fund looks good, but just because we did build a new fire station and we are staffing it, and our service is continuing to increase, and we don't know exactly what funding is going to look like, that's going to be a fund that we're going to have to continue to look at. Just because we've pushed off the levy for so long, we're going to have to continually monitor that to find when the best place for us to run our fire levy again is going to be.
60 seconds to you, Mr. Siciliano.
Thank you. We have been very fortunate, at least for me, over the last 2 years, to be in pretty good financial shape in the township. Being debt-free and having the extra money allows for us to support things like our fire rescue department, our law enforcement, adding new sheriff's deputies, and then to put a bunch of money into our capital improvement program. The plan that we have set out for that. I think being able to continue to fund and expand and improve our infrastructure is one of the first areas of importance in terms of financially, being able to support that. And then also, to impact our parks department. I would love to be able to find money that we have in reserves to be able to use that to either have the ability to push off a parks levy, or to be able to provide one that may just be a renewal, and we don't have to ask for additional money.
Would you like another 30?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, there you go.
All right. Starting with Mr. Siciliano, you'll have 60 seconds to respond and an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal. What 3 things have you personally done since taking office that have made it easier for existing businesses to operate or improve the likelihood of new businesses to open in Deerfield?
Yeah, thank you. First, I think one of the most important things that we can do is support, Mr. Flick in his work. He is our economic development director, and the connections that he has made not only locally but through the county, regionally, and even working with members from state representatives and things like that to be able to support our businesses. I think that's really important to encourage and be able to do whatever we can to support him in that work. Secondly, I want us to be able to push for even more cooperation, not just at the county level with, like the County Small Business Administration, the Small Business Development Center, but also I want us to be able to have a better relationship with the Maid Chamber and be able to really work together to have a huge impact on this region. And then thirdly, and I think most important, is I personally support local businesses. I love taking my family out to go to retail stores and restaurants and try new things and be able to be an advocate when I talk to all of my neighbors and my friends to say, hey, this is a place that you need to go and visit to be able to support and sort of promote the businesses around. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Malhotra?
Yes. So one of the first things I did, as I mentioned before, was to hire our economic development director. That was a role that was badly needed by our township, and we never had someone filling that role before. And he has really taken it, and he goes to our businesses and he explores what they need. He does the business retention and expansion visits on a yearly basis with our employers with our businesses in the township. At his suggestion, I also helped create our Community Improvement Corporation, which allows the township to actually purchase land to hold for economic development reasons. So if we have a business that comes, we can offer them, hey, we've got this land, would you like, we could make a deal with them, which helps encourage businesses to come to the township. And then finally, one of the things that I did is I've led us through, and we're finally coming to the end of it, of updating our comprehensive plan. And that really helps us zone in on the areas of the township where it would be appropriate for new businesses to come in. And we really took a deep dive at what businesses would be appropriate where, which really helps if someone's looking to open a new business, what the people of Deerfield feel is needed, and then we'll support.
Thank you. Mr. Siciliano, would you like a rebuttal?
Well, I just want to add on, I definitely, agree with us being able to, like I said, support and try to bring in businesses, and like I said, the comprehensive plan has been huge. We were at meetings where it was just the 3 trustees, but we have spent a lot of time really working through and trying to provide an opportunity to be successful in our area. And I highly encourage anyone, as we have public opportunities to come out and give your feedback on that, please make sure that you do that. Come and tell us what you want from the comprehensive plan, what you like, and if there's anything you don't. So pay attention. We will be notifying you about that. Oh, I got
It's the first bell.
Bell.
I knew I was going to get a bell tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Malhotra?
Since you got the bell, you can review our comprehensive plan on becomingdeerfield.com. It's already out there, and you can provide feedback right online. And we will have some in-person ones in November, so just add on.
Ms. Malhotra, you're going to begin. Concluding statement. When I interview candidates on any level, this is although there are no high-rises in Mason, but this is you're in an elevator, you're stuck together for 60 seconds. Give me your pitch. Why you? Why should we vote for you?
Okay, well, it's going to be a short elevator because our tallest building is the Jury Inn.
Right now, anyway.
But you should vote for me. I have the experience. I've done this for 4 years. I've led the township. I've led us to a debt-free place. I've led us through responsible development, through responsible zoning changes and zoning change denials. I've led us through changing our parks to be zoned as parks to prevent them from being developed in the future. And I led us through a parks master planning process, which allows us to have the feedback from the community on what they want from their parks and what they want to see in their parks in the future. I helped lead us through a comprehensive plan update. I helped lead us through opening a new fire station without the need to ask the taxpayers for a single cent more. I did all of this. We haven't asked for a single cent more from the taxpayers in my 4 years. And I think that just speaks volumes to all that we've been able to accomplish in these 4 years. So that's why I humbly ask for your vote on November 2nd.
I think we're here to meet the candidates, 12 days until Election Day. I know, so there will be opportunities for folks to meet and greet and talk with you later, but you have 60 seconds now for the folks at home and the people here. Same kind of thing. Why would we vote for you this time around, this November 2nd?
Yeah, thank you. For 2 years, First, 2 years ago, I actually got the opportunity to accept this job, this position, because I've been passionate about government, whether that is teaching my own children or teaching my extended children, as I like to say. You know, I've had the ability to impact over, I think I was counting over 3,500 students individually, and it's my passion that you get, and you will get that every day. My job is to listen and understand what the community wants and then make it a reality. And we as a board have been able to do quite a number of things that have been really to make Deerfield Township a great place to live, to work, and to play. And really what it comes down to is all of this. I do this so that I can look my 3 children in the face and know that they are proud of me. And if I can make them proud, then I hope that I can make the community, the rest of the community, proud. And that's why I hope that they will give me 4 more years to continue to work for them.
Thank you, candidates, for joining us tonight, and thank you for your dedication and willingness to serve the community. The Chamber would also like to thank Flagle, who sponsors the Chamber's advocacy programs that makes events like tonight possible. As a reminder to the community, this forum will be available through ICRC-TV and the Maid Chamber's website and Facebook pages. We encourage the community to get out and vote on November 2nd. And now we're going to go through a stage change-up, and we invite the candidates for Mason City Council to join us by making their way to the stage. We'll get started as soon as possible.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
Say hi real quick.
Welcome to the Mason City Council Candidate Forum. On behalf of the Mason Deerfield Chamber, we want to thank Joe Barr, American Legion Post 194 for hosting us this evening. The American Legion is America's largest veteran service organization and is nonpartisan. Its mission is to enhance the well-being of America's veterans, their families, our military, and our communities by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. I'll let Mike introduce himself here.
So I think you were probably in the room before when I said who I am, but my name is Mike Dardis, WLWT News 5. I've been in town 9 years now, 8.5 of those in Mason. I've done a lot of politics as far as debates are concerned on all levels, but the main reason I'm here tonight is because I love the community that we all live in, and I think we're very lucky. And politics in Mason, as we all know lately, has been pretty darn interesting. So that's why I'm here tonight.
And I'm Erin Glynn. I cover Butler, Warren, and Claremont counties for the Cincinnati Enquirer and Report for America. So we'd like to begin by thanking Ashley Chance, Mark Hackey, Diana Nelson, and Barbara Spaeth for being here with us this evening and for their interest in serving the city. Thank you to our citizens who have joined us this evening and those of you tuning in from the comfort of your own homes as you evaluate which 4 candidates you'll cast your vote for this election season. Mike Gilb had an unexpected work emergency and was unable to join us tonight. Barbara Hogan, TJ Honorlaw, and Margie Murray didn't respond or decline the opportunity to participate in the forum this evening. Additional information on all candidates can be found on the Chamber's website at madechamber.org, as well as on the Facebook page Decision Made 2021. ICRC-TV is here filming the forum and will also be broadcasting live on their Facebook page. There's also a schedule of playback for watching on television posted on the Mason Deerfield Chamber Facebook page and website.
Format tonight will begin with opening comments from each candidate, who will each have a couple of minutes, starting in alphabetical order. Then we're going to go through a series of questions where you're going to have 60 seconds, and then some rebuttal time. Because of the fact that we have fewer candidates than we expected, we do have some more time tonight. I'm not saying that we're going to use it all, but we might take that opportunity for some follow-up questions and get to know you just a little bit better if we can tonight. The moderators also reserve the right to get involved in a little bit of the back and forth, as I mentioned. There will be a 10-second time card warning over here with this nice lady who has the stop sign, and then if you go over time, she'll kindly ring the bell, and you'll know what that means as well. So the forum format and the questions, I need to point out, have been provided ahead of time and agreed upon between the chamber and between the candidates, so I wanted folks watching on TV to be aware of that as well.
All right, we'll begin with opening comments with our candidates. Beginning in alphabetical order with Mr. Chance, you have 2 minutes, and please include why you are running for office.
Well, Mike summed it up for me. I'm running because it's interesting. You know, we've definitely ran into some interesting times on council, but I am running mainly because I love this community. I've been here for 41 years. I graduated. I went K through 12 through Mason City Schools. Graduated, went on to Miami University, and then I came right back here to Mason, Ohio. I've raised my family here, my lovely bride of 13 years, Beth. And then we have 3 kids. We have Samantha that's 12, Austin 10, and Avery that is 7. And so that's, and my father is, he's a retired colonel in the Air Force. And he always instilled in me that we have to give back to the community one way or the other. And so as an adult, or as, about in my early 30s, I started thinking about what that would look like. And I've been kind of in Mason politics since the early 90s. I see Mr. Spaeth back there, but we were putting out signs for Betty Davis when she was running for council, running for mayor, and then for state rep. So I've been, I have a sincere love for this community, and with what's been going on, I feel like it's my duty to continue because I bring a business independent mindset to council. I pride myself in people understanding where I come from. I have my principles, and I'm not gonna sway from those, but I'm also gonna listen. And you're gonna find out real quickly if we agree or disagree, but you're also gonna find out really quick that there's gonna be civility and respect, because I think that's been lost. That's been lost in communication, and I really don't understand why. I want to revitalize downtown. I'm a limited government kind of guy. My 10 seconds is up, but hopefully I'll be able to get to tell you more about myself later on through some of these answers. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you to the Chamber and American Legion as well.
Thank you. Mr. Hackey?
Great, thank you. So first off, I want to thank our friends here at the American Legion for allowing us to be here tonight. This is a great organization. I'm happy to be in the house again. Thanks also to our moderators. We appreciate you being here and lending your time this evening. I understand it's quite a trip for you on a weeknight. Also want to thank the Mason Deerfield Chamber for all that they've done organizing this and supporting us tonight. So as you've heard, my name is Mark Hackey. I'm running for Mason City Council. I've lived in Mason for 19 years. I'm married to my lovely wife, Nicole. We've been married for 31 years, and I have 3 adult children, 2 of whom graduated from Mason High School. I'm a Desert Storm veteran. I served in the Air Force for 20 years. My career took me to California, Alabama, England, Mississippi, and Colorado. I was incredibly fortunate to have served with many amazing people who dedicated their lives to supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States. After retiring from the Air Force, my family and I moved to Mason. I joined my family's business, thus becoming Chief Information Officer for a $35 million distribution company. After 2 years there, I fulfilled my dream of starting my own company along with my wife, Nicole. We recently sold that business after 16 years. Since moving to Mason, I've served on several boards and in many leadership positions for a number of nonprofit organizations. All of these experiences uniquely qualify me to serve the residents of our city as a member of council. To be completely honest, I never wanted to be in any kind of a political position. It was not in the plan. However, I've always felt that if I'm going to complain about something, then I better be willing to stand up and do something about it and make it better. Our city council needs to be better. We need people on council who will work together for what's best for our city, not our own personal or political interests. More than anything, we need common sense, common decency, and common mutual respect between all of our members. And I've got the stop sign. I'm done. We're right on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nelson?
Hi, I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. Can you hear me? I want to thank everyone for coming out today and allowing us the opportunity to talk with you. It's really important that you get to know who your leaders are. I've been on Mason City Council for 6 years, and I've been a resident of Mason for 21 years. To tell you a little bit about myself, I have an undergraduate degree in accounting, and I have a master's degree in taxation. I took a tax policy and procedure course at Harvard University. I am a fiscal conservative. I'm also a certified public accountant. I'm a chief financial officer for a multi-million-dollar company, and I serve on the board of trustees for a charity that supports our veterans and our Gold Star families. I am the president of the Warren County Municipal League, and I am also on the Ohio Municipal League's tax committee. I was appointed by the Treasury of the United States to serve on a federal executive advisory board to the IRS as a taxpayer advocate representing individuals from Ohio. I have been a strong advocate for our community and for our taxpayers for many years. During my time on council, I have prioritized a balanced budget, voted against unnecessary spending. I've lowered the debt by $17.3 million and increased revenue to the city by $9.2 million without raising taxes. I voted no against giving a private developer millions of our taxpayer dollars to build a 120 apartment complex unit in the heart of downtown. I helped our city generate $1.16 billion in economic development, which added 6,000 new jobs to our community. I fought hard to fund small businesses during the pandemic, and with the help of council members Stricula and Chance, we created the nation's largest small business recovery program. I believe in funding improvements to our golf course, maintaining green space, and connecting bike paths, while funding our police and our fire. My promise to you is to keep Mason's income tax rates one of the lowest in Ohio. I feel every citizen should give back in some way. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Faith?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I see a lot of my friends out there, so it's nice to see everyone. I want to thank the Mason Deerfield Chamber and the American Legion for hosting us here this evening, and I want to thank our moderators also for being here this evening. I previously served on council from 2011 to 2019, and I was the vice mayor from 2015 to 2019. I grew up here and graduated from William Mason High School, as did my husband John, and all 4 of our children. I did leave Mason for 20 years, and I worked as a social worker, and then I returned home to finish my social work career while living in Mason. I retired from social work in 2005. Helping create strong families has always been the core of my work. I continue to volunteer for the Warren County Abuse and Rape Crisis Shelter as a board trustee, and I'm a trustee for the Mary J. Klingling Trust Fund, where we allocate grant funds to nonprofit programs that serve at-risk or troubled youth. Since we don't have a lot of time right now to talk about our backgrounds and also the accomplishments I feel like we achieved while I was on council, I want to encourage everyone to please visit my website at spaithforcouncil.com. I want to continue to be your representative on council and voice your concerns. Initially, my focus will be to try to bring calm to our city and council after the events of the past 2 years. I want to bring cohesiveness back to City Council and return the council to the important work of the city, like improving roads and sidewalks, looking at ways to improve traffic challenges in our city, and repairing and building partnerships with the Mason-Deerfield Chamber, businesses, community organizations, the schools, the downtown community, and the citizens of Mason. And I want to continue to maintain our strong revenue base to keep our taxes low. I am a public servant, not a politician, and my only desire to serve on council is to serve you, the citizens of Mason. Thank you.
Thank you. Please don't get nervous as I go off script for like 10 seconds. David, are you still back there from the American Legion? Yes, Mike. Could you do me a favor? I love this area so much. I actually want to showcase it tonight on the 11 o'clock news and let folks know that we're doing a forum to meet the candidates. So I forgot to ask you, and I'm trying to grab my phone, but the candidates are going to think I'm rude if I'm doing that. Can you take some photos of the candidates and also from each angle so I can use them tonight? Thank you so much. Sorry. I didn't know another way to ask, and by the time we're finished, it would be over, and then that's the end of it. Okay. So we're not going to leave half of the candidates out. We're going to go back-to-back questions now where the incumbents get to speak, and then after that, we're going to go with some of the challengers. So we'll start with the incumbents here, which includes, of course, Ashley Chance and Diana Nelson. We're going to go in alphabetical order, each candidate with 60 seconds. There's going to be a 30-second rebuttal opportunity at the end. We're going to start with Mr. Chance here. What is one thing that you have personally done since taking office that has made it easier for existing businesses to operate or improve the likelihood of new businesses to open here in the Mason area? Mr. Chance.
Yeah, that's, it's somewhat of a loaded question because the one thing that I pride myself in is, and we've heard it up here with the trustees, is the economic development. I think if you put Michelle Blair up against anyone in the country, she's just about as good as you can get. And she does an incredible job of retention and recruiting new companies. So I'm highly and always encouraging our economic development group to go out, and I've always been willing and open to continue to support that. So that is something, and I'm never remiss to continue to give them shouts because she's a professional, and as I think you can see through our tax base, we have kept it extremely low through our earnings tax and be able to recruit those companies and bringing them in. There's one stat that I love to say, and I always repeat it, is in 1980 that there was 100% of our tax burden was on our residents. And fast forward to where we are now, that's 11% because of our earnings tax. So it behooves me, and it should behoove everyone on council to continue to support the economic development efforts. So that's what I've done, and that's what I will continue to do.
Ms. Nelson, obviously keeping businesses in Mason extremely important, and recruiting new businesses to plant their roots, that's also important. Can you talk about your personal experience, maybe something that you've done to keep a business operating the proper way and happy here in the city of Mason?
Sure. Well, there was a combined aggregate growth in 2019 and into 2020 that set the record for economic development growth. And we had a certain business within Mason that was very successful and was so successful that it needed to expand. And at the time, we had an option. We either could allow them to move to a different community and take the revenue base with them, or we could do something to keep them here. And so with the help of staff and council, we passed legislation that allowed the Mason Business and Research Development Park off of 741 to become into existence. There are currently going to be 4 businesses located within that business park, and the total net investment is $198 million. So this particular company now is going to be moving to this development park and expanding, and it's going to be great for Mason because we didn't lose the revenue. In fact, we increased our revenue, which was very successful, kept them happy, and kept us happy as well.
We call it a 30-second rebuttal. It can be a rebuttal, or it could just be 30 seconds that you'd like to use however you'd like.
Yeah.
Mr. Chance, 30 seconds to you if you'd like it.
No, I echo everything that Mrs. Nelson said. She's, with that was an incredible retention program. But the other thing that I think we're losing sight of a little bit on council is, can we get back to doing the city business? When I hear that staff is thumbing through 5,000 emails in regards to some social issues that I don't think we should be looking at, that's taken away from us doing what our core competency should be. So I think it's, let's get back to doing city business, because what we do really well is keep our taxes low by keeping our companies here and increasing our earnings tax.
Plenty of time later for hot button issues. We're going to ask
yeah.
a couple of those. But I did say you...
Softball.
No, I did say you could use the 30 seconds however you wanted. And that's why we're here.
Right.
When you show up
I
at
gotta
this
get
thing.
it out, Mike.
No, absolutely. So, Ms. Nelson, you have 30 seconds if you'd like to use it.
Sure. I think it's really important to communicate with our businesses and to be there to help them, whether it's in regards to zoning or just helping them with ideas. For instance, parking. We really need parking on East Main Street, and I think it would be great if this next council would focus on adding additional parking to our downtown so that more businesses can come in and be successful, because the ones we have are wonderful, and I would hate to lose them because we don't have parking.
Thank you, candidates. Now a question for the challengers. Each candidate will have 60 seconds and a 30-second rebuttal. Starting with Mr. Hackey, what is the first thing you would do if elected that would make it easier for businesses to operate or improve the likelihood of new businesses to open in Mason?
Well, the first thing I'll do is take away the title of challenger, but beyond that, no, there's a lot that needs to be done. Ashley and Diane have talked about the economic development, which the city has done an amazing job of, but we can't lose sight of the small businesses either. There's an organization that we're really familiar with in the room tonight called the Mason Deerfield Chamber, and we need to make sure that the relationship between the City Council and the Chamber is mended. There is so much good that comes out of that organization. They're the ones who support the small businesses. They're the ones who are a voice for small businesses, and they've gotten kind of a raw deal the last couple of years. So we need to make sure that we're working with them and doing things to ensure that the small businesses have the opportunity, not only that, but to feel welcome here in the city. Right now, I'm getting the sign. I'll leave it at that. We'll have some more time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bates?
Yes, I've always, when I was on council, we always did such a tremendous job in being able to recruit big companies. And as Ashley and Diana already talked about, we have such a great staff that does that in our economic development department. Michelle Blair, and of course our city manager who's sitting out there, Eric Hansen, and assistant city manager Jennifer Heft. They do such a great job with the big businesses. But I think a lot of us are always, we started focusing more on the small businesses. And there's a lot of things that we could do to improve recruiting our small businesses and being able to retain them. I really believe that we have to take the city government out of doing that. We need somebody that can be a voice downtown that is close to downtown. And I would definitely support using city dollars to fund a position, possibly like within the Mason Deerfield Chamber or the CDC, that would be that person that's going to be a go-between between the city and the downtown businesses, so that we can have someone to look at that and recruit and figure out what do the downtown businesses need.
Thank you. You have 30 seconds if you'd like to use it. Mr. Hackey?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bates?
Well, just, I mean, of course, I don't think any of us are going to have a rebuttal with each other because we all pretty much are on the same page of how we want things to go. And I just want to continue just to say, I just think it's so important that we figure out a way, you know, we've talked about this master plan or comprehensive plan. There are so many things that we need to start working on and getting back to doing city business. We can't continue to waste the time of our staff and our community on these non-essential ordinances that are coming before council every single week.
Thank you so much. If you like talking, you're going to get another chance to start again. And then we're going to, I believe, according to my seating chart, it's, we're going to go with you and then Mr. Chance and then down the line. So now we're going to get to talk a little bit more about downtown Mason. And obviously, if you've been watching the news or showing up at city council meetings of late, downtown Mason and its desire for progress have been discussed a lot lately. Let's talk a little bit about what you believe the role of the City of Mason government is when it comes to the revitalization of downtown Mason. And as a member of council, how would you demonstrate your support for the neighborhood? And based on what you've seen over the last few months, how do you think things are going in that area? We'll start with you, Ms.
Okay,
Spaeth.
thank you. Again, this is just continuing the conversation that I'm having right now. It's so important that we're going to look at how we can revitalize downtown, but it's not the role of city government to do that. I can't tell you how frustrating it was when I was on council and I would have people say, why doesn't the city just go tear all the buildings down and start all over? Well, the city doesn't own those properties, and we can't do that. We have to look to the property owners that are in this community. We have to look to the community leaders like the Maid Chamber. We have to look to all the other organizations that want to do something to change the way our downtown looks. And then we also have to involve city government in it, but city government should not be leading this effort. And again, like I said, I would love to support city dollars to go toward a position that maybe would be put, if it's possible, in the Mason Deerfield Chamber, so that we have that person that can start getting a master plan, a comprehensive plan, something that's going to change the look of downtown.
Mr. Chance.
Sure. Well, the cool thing about it is I am part of the hood. I own 123 East Main Street. I own 125 East Main Street where Adesso is, and I'm very proud of that because if I'm going to be sitting up here making decisions about what's going on downtown, I think the constituents, I think the citizens of Mason would want someone that's invested in their own city. And for some reason, I'm getting darts thrown at me for doing that, but I'm not ashamed of that. And to Barb's point, you know, leaders sometimes need to get out of the way. Some leaders need to understand it's time to follow. And it's not our role as a government to come in with the strong fist of it and say, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and just sit back and be okay with it, citizens. No. We had 106 people get up and speak at our council meetings about this downtown plan, and it was basically 104 of them were against it. So I want to listen. I want to get all of the players involved, the residents, the communities, the property owners. I want to collectively get those folks involved and get something done that represents our community and our citizens that we can be proud of.
Mr. Hackey.
Yes, sir. So, you know, it's kind of funny. We're going to have similar answers up here because we're all kind of on the same board, on the same page on this. It's not the role of government to lead the downtown development. What the job of government is to sit back and work with the citizens, work with organizations that are experts in this. You know, we've had companies come in to the downtown committee meetings, the downtown development committee meetings, and say, look, this plan is not the way to do this. It's not a build it and they will come type of scenario. There are ways to do this responsibly, and one of the first things we have to do is have a master plan. We have to have something guiding what we're doing, not just some people sitting up on the council, in council chambers saying this is what we want and this is what we're going to do, like it or not. That's not the way we should be working. And like Ashley said, we've had a lot of people come to council meetings saying this isn't what we want. So we need to take the time to do this properly so that we don't end up with 120 apartment units and not enough parking for those, much less the other businesses downtown.
Ms. Nelson?
Well, although I agree that the government, shouldn't be the only person helping with the development, I do think that the government does play a key role. Downtown has not been developed successfully with past councils because proper plans have not been in place, and politics always seem to get in the way. Having a downtown master plan is the first step to developing downtown successfully, but the plan shouldn't be executed by City Council. Politicians need to move out of the way, and they need to let the Community Development Corporation work on execution of the master plan once the city has developed it. If they don't use the Community Development Corporation, they really should hire a downtown development manager whose sole purpose is to wake up thinking about downtown development. As council changes, ideas change, and things, they stall the progress of downtown, which we have seen over the years. I am a firm believer in developing our downtown with community and business input. They need to be part of the process to make it successful, and their voices need to be heard.
So I'm just going to go off script just a little bit on this one. Mr. Chance mentioned 104 out of the 106 speakers were against the downtown plan that was talked about recently. A lot of folks, Joe Schmo watching at home on ICRC, or maybe if they're in the audience tonight, it's inside baseball. They don't know really what's going on. I think when I try to explain it at work, when we send a reporter out here, folks don't know exactly what's going on. So I know it's only 30 seconds, but maybe we can extend it a little bit since we have more time. Explain to people watching at home, what do you mean by, if I'm sitting at home and I'm seeing downtown development, I think, oh, that's good. Tell me why the way it's being done in your mind, and we've invited everybody to be here, so I don't feel like I'm speaking out of turn. Why do you not agree with it? Give me some more specifics.
Sure.
Rather than
Yeah.
that
Well,
you don't agree with it.
Well, I'm building a new house, right? And I go to build a house, and I sit down, and my architect shows up and says, hey, this is what you're getting. This is the colors you're getting. This is the size of your bedroom you're getting. This is how big your garage is going to be. Oh, by the way, I didn't do a 2-car garage. I did a 1-car garage. It's done wrong. It's being led by a developer and not led by the community. And if you think about it, if I wouldn't do that for my house, why would I do that for the community? We talked about a master plan, and there's a lot of clickbaits out there of, these words. You see it a lot. When you hear downtown revitalization, every single one of us would say, check that box. Let's rock and roll. We all want to see that, because if you look at the surrounding areas of Mason, it's absolutely beautiful. And there's much to be desired about downtown, and we're getting there. We're doing better. But at the same time, there's studies that we have to look at. I live on Mason Road. I live on downtown. And when I take my kids to softball at Heritage Oak Park, it can take 15 minutes sometimes, depending on the flow of traffic. We need to do some things prior to just saying it's the Roy Hobbs, build it and they will come thing. That's just not appropriate.
So we have 30 seconds. You used yours. I don't have to always go in order, because I'm just curious. Does anybody want to add to that? We'll start. Ms. Spaeth was supposed to go next, so I'll go with you. Explain to the folks at home, do you agree with what's been going on with the downtown development? Do you not agree? And maybe in stronger terms, why, if you don't agree or agree, why?
Okay, the entire time that I was on city council, I can never remember any kind of development project where we voted on it in council and said, hey, let's do this, and we didn't even know what the details were in the plan. I served on planning commission for 2 years, and there were several projects where they were put on hold, or some of them were completely stopped because they didn't fit the plan of the city, or they didn't fit zoning, or something was not right with it. I don't even know what this development is about. I mean, we've got a developer that is showing you a picture that looks really nice, but that's from other cities. That's not really what we know that's going to go on in this development. You have to take everything before planning commission, before zoning, for all the committees, before council even votes on it, and I've never seen anything done like this before. So that's why I'm not for it. I'm for development, and I might be for this plan, but I don't know what the heck they're doing. And I just think that that's the way the community feels. It was shoved down our throats, and it was rushed, and the community said, pause. I was one of the people that got up and said, can you please just pause and let us take a look at what's going on and fix all the things, fix the traffic, fix the water problems, fix the parking, and then we might all want to be on board, and that didn't happen.
So your argument, obviously, communication is important on this. Ms. Nelson, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, I would love to. I am completely against the downtown development. It is putting 120 apartments in a small area of green space that we don't have a lot of green space left. So if we're going to develop it, we need to make sure that we have a plan in place and we're developing it properly. We are giving this private developer free tax abatements, free tap and sewer fees. It comes to like $11 million we're giving this private developer, and there is no return on investment to our community. It's a terrible deal. We're taking away parking that the city purchased for our small businesses on East Main Street that they need desperately. These are popular businesses that are adored by our community. They are no longer going to have this parking. So how are these businesses going to survive without parking? We're giving away an access road. How in the world can we give away an access road to a private developer? The whole deal is bad for our community, and I'm not quite sure why we've pushed it through like we have. Like I said, the businesses and the community have all come forward and said, no, we don't want this slowdown, and that's what we need to do. We need to listen to them.
Okay, Mr. Hackey, you're the cleanup hitter on this one.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm in full agreement with everything they've said, and there's more to this as well. One, no other businesses, no other developers were given an opportunity to bid on this land. No RFPs were done whatsoever. So you've got a single developer who's just suddenly getting all this property, and they're saying they're selling it for $100,000, but for all intents and purposes, it's free. And parking is going to be a huge issue. Not only are there too many units for the amount of parking space they're going to have, like Diana said, they're going to take away 19 critical spaces. And if any of those businesses on East Main want to expand, the parking is a calculation that has to be taken into account when they're looking at occupancy. So if you take away parking, they're already not, they already don't have enough. So if they want to expand their business and expand their occupancy so they can make more money, be more profitable, they can't, because they'll have less parking than they have today. So everything about this is bad, and that's just scratching the surface.
Thanks for explaining. Appreciate it.
All right, now we'll start with Ms. Nelson, move right to Ms. Faith, and end with Mr. Hackey. Transportation and infrastructure needs are continuing to evolve with the city. What do you believe is the top transportation or infrastructure priority for the city of Mason today that will have the most impact over the next 4 years?
Infrastructure is the backbone to a healthy economy. Mason has grown over the years, and we have been working to update our infrastructure to keep up with the needs. With the business park going in off of 741, we will see a substantial increase in traffic along that corridor. While on council, we were able to secure government grants, which will allow us to make 741 a 4-lane road. This project will continue into the next few years. In addition to the expansion, we will also add sidewalks to 741 and connect it into the bike path. The traffic downtown Mason is horrific and needs to be dealt with. This is one of my first priorities, is developing downtown Mason, improving our sidewalks, parking, and our roads. We need a traffic study done for downtown Mason, and we need road expansion. Connecting the bike paths in Mason has been an ongoing project that will continue. Our future plan is to connect all of the bike paths in Mason to the Little Miami Bike Trail.
Thank you. Ms. Faith?
Thank you. I don't know that I can say there's one top priority, because I think the traffic flow is always going to be a priority no matter where in Mason. As we continue to bring in companies, and hopefully we'll still be able to do that, and as we continue to look at downtown and figuring out how we can maybe revitalize downtown, you have to continuously look at the traffic flow. I know that there's been lots of things accomplished, like we got the full interchange at I-71 and Western Row, and that greatly reduced traffic on Fairway and Kings Mills Road. And then, of course, like Diana mentioned about 741, they've improved that area, so that flow is going much better north and south. And of course, you mentioned the roundabouts in Mason. We've put a lot of roundabouts in Mason, but they really do help the traffic flow. But you know, everyone talks about the traffic congestion and how it's such a nuisance, but it's not all a bad thing, because think about the people that are traveling through downtown that have never been here before. They might stop and have a burger at Quatman's or a beer at Common Beer. So sometimes traffic is a good thing, but you have to figure out how to maintain it and manage it.
Thank you. Mr. Chance?
Yeah, she kind of stole my thunder there at the end. I look at traffic as two different things. You know, it's good. That means we have a vibrant community. That means people want to be here. That means people are moving here. That means, we have industry here. So traffic is a good thing, but it's also, it can be a problem too, right? Is when and we've got to continue to look at that. And if you look at, I always make the comparison when I graduated Mason in 1994, I graduated with 154 kids. And you fast forward to where we are now, we're looking at close to 1,000 kids. So that means we have grown. But, Kurt Seiler, our engineer, I mean, if he has the opportunity, I would love, and Mr. Hanson sitting in here, I would love to see our improvements, the cost of the improvements, and the grants that we have been able to get to pay for the roundabouts, pay for the expansions, because they do an incredible job when they have time to pay attention to city business, to look at the roads. I mean, and I bet it's almost 75% is paid through grants that we are able to go out and obtain. And so I would continue to seek those and figure out ways that we can continue to make our roads better and improve our existing roads.
Thank you. Mr. Hackey?
So, yeah, I agree. It's fun going at the end. I get to repeat what everybody else said.
You go first next time.
Thank you. So no, we do have issues with traffic, and I agree that it's good and bad. But anybody who's gone down Mason Montgomery in the morning when the kids are going to the high school knows what it's like getting through that intersection at 42. And then to top that off, they want to put 120 apartment units there to add to the fund. So, we do have some work to do. We've also got the issues on 42. 42 is a major route through our city. It's a good thing to have, but we also need to figure out a way to get traffic around there. And there's things that we can do. We need to look at short term and we need to look at long term, because there's things that we can do that maybe people haven't thought of. Think outside of the box. How can we reroute traffic? Can we go somewhere else? And that's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it certainly won't even happen in my 4 years if I get on council, but we need to look at long-term plans and how we can work on that. And I do want to go on record as saying I love roundabouts.
Thank you. We have 30 seconds to anyone who would like it, starting with Ms. Nelson.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Spade?
Do you love roundabouts also?
I love roundabouts.
Okay. Especially the one over there in Bethany that used to be a four-way. Much
Yes.
better, by the way.
And I love the UDF over there too, so.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chance?
Oh, yeah, my dad lives down in Pinehurst, North Carolina, so I've known how to navigate these roundabouts for a long time now, so.
Some people don't know how to do it.
I know they don't. I've
Yeah.
witnessed it. But we're getting better as a
What-
community. I'd give us a good B+.
And Mr. Hackey?
Sure. Yeah, I lived in England for 3.5 years. My wife's from there, so we go back a lot. I've been doing roundabouts since 1988. They're awesome. I do them backwards over there, yes. I would also like to kind of echo what Diana said about the bike trails. I think those are very important. I live in Crooked Tree, and I know we've got kids that would like to ride their bikes down to the UDF. But to do that, they don't have a trail. They've got to go across Bethany twice to get to UDF and then twice again to get back home. So, there are opportunities in our city to get some more bike trails and get to where we want to go on them.
And we're going to start with you on the next one. So the city of Mason, not only in the spotlight in greater Cincinnati, but the state of Ohio and all around the nation on this next topic, considering legislation declaring the city a sanctuary city for the unborn. Very passionate folks are on both sides of this issue, and with good reason, of course, and it's been this way for years and years and years in America. My question tonight, is it the role of local government to legislate on an issue like this? What's your opinion on the specific legislation and its potential impact here to our area? Mr. Hackey, you first.
Can I go last?
It's a heavy one for sure.
This is a really tough one. Unfortunately, the reality is this legislation is not about saving lives. And I don't say that lightly. I know it's a very passionate thing. I spoke about this at the council meeting last week, and what I said is what we have done is we have politicized this, and we have in the council chambers that night, I think we had 4 hours of public speaking. And it was people on one side of it that were very passionate, people on the other side that were very passionate. And those two on that topic are not going to come together. It's just not going to happen. But the unfortunate thing about this is that's not what it's been about. It's been about votes. It's about what's happening 2 weeks from now. We've got an election coming up, and they've divided our city to get votes. And there's more examples of this, and I don't want to be negative, but this has been a very bad thing for our community. It's been a very dividing issue for our community, and it's not something that we should be dealing with at the city level.
Ms. Nelson, your thoughts?
Well, I want to say America is the greatest country out there. I am a huge patriot. I respect so much the men and women who have fought for our country. But in America, there are rules that we have to follow. There are rules within our country that provide order. And part of that ruling is the Supreme Court has made a decision on the abortion issue. And it is arrogant to think, and it is wrong to think, that a local leader can come in, actually just 4, they only need majority, so that's 4 leaders, can come in and override a federal law. Federal law trumps local law, period. So it really doesn't have anything to do with how I feel if I'm pro-choice or pro-life. This has to do with the laws within our society, and we don't have the jurisdiction or the ability to change a federal Supreme Court ruling.
Ms. Spaeth?
This is a very frustrating topic for me. Should Mason City Council be engaged in this kind of an issue? Absolutely not. Now, I'm going to say the other candidates that are not here tonight who are sitting at home are going to twist what I'm going to say, and they're going to have it out on some flyer probably and say that I'm for abortion, because that's what they're already doing now. But I want you to listen to this. We don't legislate. Mason City Council doesn't legislate. We're a local government. That happens at the state level and the federal level. We're not supposed to be making laws that you cannot enforce and that hurt your community. This isn't about whether you're pro-choice or you're pro-life. It has nothing to do with that. And it's not going to, like Mark mentioned, it's not going to stop abortions from happening. It's only going to punish people that aren't even having the abortion. And if you look at this law, it's being managed by a group in Texas. You need to really look at this, what's happening. This is going to hurt our community. And again, it's not about being pro-choice or pro-life. Mason City government should not be dealing with this issue whatsoever.
Mr. Chance?
Sure. Yeah, I'm glad this question was asked, because I'm not into legislating morality. I'll keep it really simple. I will go to my community, I will go to the foot of the cross, or I'll go to my pastor. I'm certainly not going to go to some politician to tell me anything in regards to my belief structure, my faith, or anything like that. And to echo what we have said here, it's something that it actually breaks my heart, because it's such a divisive political football, and we're watching it absolutely divide our city. For what? So we can get something on our postcard that says we're a sanctuary city now, that you can't enforce this thing. I am pro-life. I will make that extremely clear as well. I am pro-life, but I'm a Mason City Council person. That should have no bearing on if I'm on the abortion issue. And I did write something when I had to respond to this, and I got my time. But again, I'm going to go to my community. I'm going to the foot of the cross or my pastor. I'm not going to go to some politician on some social issues. So that's where I stand on that.
Your jobs are much like mine in that it's not my job to take a position on issues that we report on the news. But it is my job to sometimes get people to explain why they're on one side or the other a little bit more. So I just want to ask you, on an issue like this, for people who are on the other side, so tonight we have 4 people kind of all agreeing on the same position on this, but for the folks who are home watching, and you mentioned the other candidates who are watching, what kind of impact do you think it could have on the city of Mason? I know you said in general you just don't believe it's government's job to get involved in something like this, and I think that's good enough for many voters. But for the voters who are maybe on the other side of the issue, very passionately in fact, tell them in other ways, could it have an impact, do you believe, on the city of Mason? And if so, how?
Well, 100%.
And in any order.
I mean,
You
I'm
could,
so-
you
oh,
could go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I thought you were
No,
pointing
no,
to-
no. You go ahead because you were talking already, and then we'll just go down the line. But go ahead.
100%. I mean, as you look around, from our farming community, we've gone to several international businesses here. And, I think with that being said, I don't want to deter businesses from coming to Mason for any reason. I just don't. And I think this has the opportunity to just that. We have a tennis tournament. We have an international tennis tournament. 1 of 7 sites in the world comes to Mason, Ohio. And if we do something along those lines, I 100% believe in my heart of hearts that there could be a decision to say, you know what, we're not going to go to Mason now. And again, and that's their prerogative. As city council people, we should not be putting up any barriers.
Mr. Hackey, you want to go on that?
Yeah, I again agree with Ashley, but the other things too is we've already heard many accounts of people are refusing to go to Lebanon now because they passed Sanctuary City and they're not going to frequent their businesses there. I've already heard from many people that if this happens in Mason, they will not frequent businesses in Mason. That's just one potential impact. Like he talked about with the tennis tournament, we want to entice businesses into Mason. That's what his stat on 91% of the taxes coming from payroll. We could definitely but we could definitely deter other businesses from coming in here that are thinking about locating in Mason. And again, this isn't going to save a life. Our mayor has said that this changes nothing. It just is going to divide our community, and it's about getting votes.
Ms. Nelson, if on the 25th it's introduced and we become a sanctuary city here in Mason, what kind of an impact do you think it could have on Mason?
Well, I think it's already having somewhat of an impact. I believe we have 20 corporations that are headquartered here in Mason. And we have, not council, but our city manager has already fielded a number of calls from some of these very large corporations voicing their concerns about this. We have to remember, too, that these businesses, not only do they need to generate revenue, but they also need to have workers. And there is a fear that some of the workers may no longer want to work in Mason. For an issue that we really don't have the right to enforce, I don't think it's worth the economic risk to our community in loss of tax revenue and businesses to push this forward. And I believe it's 100% a political issue. Look at when we're voting on it, the last meeting before an election.
Ms. Spaeth, what do you think?
Well, I totally agree with everyone has said about how it's going to hurt businesses. I don't think I need to go over that again and again and again. I mean, we definitely are going to have businesses look at us and think, well, why would I want to have my business there when they have a council that has divided the community? And that's what concerns me, is what's happened to our community. It has divided our community. We're better than this. We should be a community of one that's all working together. And it really just makes me sad that this kind of an issue has been brought before council, and it just seems that the current council doesn't really care about how our community feels about it. And I think that for me is the saddest thing, how it is affecting our community and how we're ever going to get beyond it.
I know we took a lot of time in those last two, but thank you for all of your answers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, council members. We're again going to start with Mr. Chance and end with Ms. Spaeth on this question. The etymology of the word civility comes from the Latin civitas, which means citizen. Good citizenship implies respect for our fellow citizens, our institutions, conventional norms of behavior, and the law. If elected, how will you work to advance civil discourse on Mason City Council? Mr. Chance.
Yeah, that's, I think I've mentioned, and I've said this on some of my social media platforms, that we have a very diverse community here in Mason. I think there's 72 languages spoken in our high school. So what does that mean? That means there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of difference of opinions, a lot of different cultures, a lot of difference of everything. And so in the event that we can't sit down and compromise and have civility, is to Barb's point, it saddens me. And, you know, I have sat down, I'm a Republican, I've sat down with Democrats and I stood up from that meeting, gave them a hug, and said, until next time. I enjoy doing that because I think diversity of thought is healthy because I might learn something. I might learn a perspective of something that I wasn't thinking of. So I think that's healthy, and I think the civility has gotten away from it to where it's so divided that if you're here, you can't be here. I want to close that gap to say, oh, yes, you can, and it's pretty darn easy to do.
Thank you. Mr. Hackey?
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years since I've really been paying a lot of attention to council. One of the things that we don't see and that is absolutely critical is we need to have mutual respect for each other. We're going to have differences of opinion, and even the four of us, even though we agree on a lot of things, there are things we are not going to see eye to eye on. But the thing is, you know, we can have a calm discussion, a respectful discussion, and come up with, you know, something that's going to work for everybody in the end, or at least something that the majority of us will agree will work for everybody. And we've had conversations many times. You know, it's good to agree, and to disagree, and we're going to. But at the end of the day, like you said, we're going to give it a hug. We're going to go out and have a drink, and we're still going to be friends, and we'll still do the business of the city in the way that it needs to be done.
Thank you. Ms. Nelson?
It was well said, by the way. Well, the last 2 years, we've definitely seen Civility take a back seat with our current leadership. This is going to go down in history as the worst 2 years of city council ever. It's very sad. My goal is to bring professionalism back to council. I am a business professional, and that's how I'm a firm believer in running the city like a business. This includes conducting meetings in a professional manner, respecting not only other council members, but also respecting the residents that come forward to speak. I've seen current leadership attack our residents and our businesses, and that just breaks my heart. We really hope to rid these individuals from council and bring new council members into position that are willing to work with everyone in the community, business leaders, individuals of all types, as well as council members. And I know that, you know, Chance, Hackey, myself, and Spaeth, we all have this same goal. It's really important to us. We really need to get back to doing the work of what city government is supposed to do and stop all the bickering and the put-downs and intimidation that's going on.
Thank you. Ms. Spaeth?
Thank you. I'm going to have to say I don't have a magic answer to how we're going to bring civility back to our council and our community. The four of us have always wanted to work with all citizens of Mason. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, or whoever you are. But we've been called a lot of names and continue to get called a lot of names because we want to work with all citizens of Mason because we're a nonpartisan group and we're supposed to do that. The best thing that I can say is that I hope that we get a good council that will want to work together and will show respect for each other, and we'll be able to do the things that everyone has mentioned, which is, if you want, we can agree to disagree, we can have a conversation, we can come to compromises, and we're not always going to get our own way. You have to realize you're not always going to get your own way, but you have to do what is best for the community. And I just hope we can get back to that, and I hope the name calling will stop.
Thank you. We have 30 seconds for anyone who would like to use it, starting with Mr. Chance.
I think I'm good. I think I got everything else, besides Mrs. Nelson didn't say she liked mine.
So we're good all the way across here? We're good.
I have a quick, I just really encourage you, if you are voting and you are not familiar with the dynamics of city council, I urge you to just sit down and go to ICRC and just watch a couple of our council meetings. I think you'll know exactly who you will want to vote for after watching a few of our meetings.
I do have a little bit of rebuttal. It's something that's kind of a salt in my side a little bit. That's that went down with our recent Warren County Republican Party. I would encourage, just as Mrs. Nelson said, I would encourage everyone to also figure out exactly how the four other Republicans are being endorsed and not us. I asked a simple question. I said, so am I a registered Republican? The answer was no. Figure that one out. So that creates tension and that creates angst. For what reason? Because we're going to eat our own? So I think we got to start there as well.
Getting a lot of notes here, so before the dramatic conclusion, first of all, a ring was found in the women's restroom. So there's a gold ring up here in case you were washing your hands. And then I can't read the writing on this one, so I'll wait on that. You can maybe look at that. The canteen is open. Let people know that.
Yes.
Okay, and we might need that.
Yes.
Okay, final thing. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank all of you and also to thank the other candidates at home too. Because public service, it's an interesting choice that you make as a person to go into public service, and it's an admirable thing. I know it's taken a lot of hits over the last several years nationally and locally as well. But I know I put out a post on social media a couple days ago, and a viewer took me to task, and I'll promise I'll get to the point. Oftentimes I put a straight down the middle kind of statement out on social media, and I'll get people on both sides who think I took one side or the other, and they'll hate me for it. What I often do is say on private message, send me your number, and then we talk on the phone. I do that with a lot of viewers, and by the end of it, we're all good. I think there's a lot of things that can be solved by communicating properly, and you'd be shocked at some of the people, how it started with me and how it ended, and that you have a lot more in common than you think. So I want to thank all of you and the candidates at home for what you do, because I know we all appreciate you putting yourself out there and criticized a lot of it fair, a lot of it unfair, but just being out there is important. So we're going to start down on this end with Ms. Spaeth and talk about, you have 60 seconds to talk about why, when we see your sign in the yard, we've seen them all, why should we vote for you? Why should you be a part of City Council moving forward?
Okay. First of all, I just want to say tonight was much easier because I didn't have my cats trying to pounce on me, because we had the forum the other night and it was on Zoom, and I had my cats constantly trying to pounce on me during that. But I just, I love Mason, and I want everyone else to love Mason. I want Mason to be respected again. And I have relatives that live outside the city, and they'll contact me and they'll hear what's going on. They're like, what in the heck is going on in Mason? It's so embarrassing. It has been so embarrassing these last 2 years. And it's hard to explain it because people don't believe when you say what's really happening. They'll say, well, why are they acting that way? Or why is that happening? It's really difficult to explain unless you're actually living it. And this has been going on much longer than people realize. I guess I have to say, thanks to COVID, it brought Zoom to council meetings, and everyone got to see what really has been going on for a long time, about 20 years, actually. I don't have anything like special I want to say about why you should vote for me. But I'm going to tell you, I'm an honest person. I'm a trustworthy person. I just want to do what's right for the city of Mason. And I just hope that you will look back on what I did my first 8 years on council. And I hope to bring back civility again to the city and calm to our city and bring us all together.
Ms. Nelson.
Well, Mason is my home, and I have worked hard for the past 6 years to move Mason forward. I am a businesswoman, and I vow to run the city like a business with returns that are high, where return on investments are high, spending is low, and budgets are balanced. Just as I have done for the last 6 years, I will continue to listen to public input and engage the community to ensure that any development we do is done in the right way, through collaboration with residents and businesses in mind. Many people have asked me why I am running for re-election. My answer I usually point to are my strongest core beliefs. I believe in service, I believe in family, our creator, our country, and our neighbors. Time and talent is the best gift that I can give back to my community. My family has made a lifetime commitment to live here in Mason, so it only seems natural that I serve the community to the fullest. Therefore, on November 2nd, I humbly ask for your vote. But more importantly, I ask for your support not only on Election Day, but throughout my term as we work together to deliver on a promise for a future that is brighter for all of Mason residents and businesses. Thank you.
Mr. Hackey.
Thanks. So thank you again to the Legion. Thanks to the Maid Chamber, and thanks to our moderators for coming out tonight. And thanks to everybody who's attending here and at home. We desperately need change. If you see my sign, it says it's time for a change, and that's exactly why I'm doing this. There's a clear lack of leadership in our council. This just can't be allowed to continue. We need a council that'll work together to support our business community, not attack the one organization who's dedicated to supporting and helping those businesses grow, and that's the Chamber of Commerce. We need unity and we need respectful dialogue, even if we don't agree on something. So if elected, I will do my best to represent all members of Mason, not just those who voted for me. I will represent, I lost my place. I promise to listen to all Mason residents and business owners to ensure that we're always doing the will of our residents and business community. I will also work with all members of council to the best of my ability, even if they choose not to work with me. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chance.
Yeah, thank you, you guys, for coming out tonight. I know it's 9:15 on a Thursday evening, and the crowd even. Thank you guys for coming out. This is engagement that I love to see. Because it is getting to know us. As mentioned, I've been here 41 years of my life. I love Mason. I've seen the transition of Mason. I've been a small business owner in downtown Mason for the past 19 years. I've seen it grow, and I love where we've gotten to, except for where we sit in council chambers on every other Monday night. You know, I am pro Mason. I am pro business. And what you see is what you get. I am a city council person. I'm not looking for the next step. I'm not looking to go anywhere else. I am pretty darn content. I have a really good life right here with my beautiful wife, with my kids, my community, and I love serving Mason. And that's what I want to do. And that's why I'm sitting up here, and that's why I'm looking to get elected on November 2nd. So thanks again for everybody coming out, the American Legion for hosting, and especially for this crowd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for being here tonight and for your willingness to serve the community. The Chamber would also like to thank Flagle, who sponsors the Chamber's advocacy programs and makes events like tonight possible. And as a reminder to the community, this event will be available through ICRC-TV and the Maid Chamber's website and Facebook pages. We encourage everybody to get out and vote on November 2nd.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And I will not.
Any other notes?
I was just going to say, I will not join you at the canteen because the 11 p.m. news would need a 7-second delay. So enjoy yourselves.